the PPP, because I've been getting some more questions on how that process is going to look. So if you've gotten the PPP and you've had these questions, then hopefully this will help answer some of those questions that you might have. So the biggest thing right now is that PPP is kind of on hold. The forgiveness application part is kind of on hold because the legislation is supposed to go through to get the forgiveness process done. And there's expected legislation that's going to possibly go through that will do a blanket forgiveness over all loans under 150,000. So basically that means that if you got PPP funds that were under 150,000, they're anticipating that that will be blanketly forgiven, to say the least. That came directly from the SBA, but they're just kind of waiting on the government to make that move. And it was delayed because Congress or the Senate or whoever went on break in August, and that went until I think after Labor Day. And now it's kind of been dragging their feet to possibly after the election. So there's a lot of limbo pending stuff happening right now. And so that can become a little bit frustrating, especially because I know that there's a lot of anticipation about the forgiveness piece of it. I have a couple of things that I just want to, I guess it's kind of more my opinion, so don't take it as gospel, but this would be my take on this situation. If you had no changes in employment, so like if you had the same amount of or about the same amount of employees, and if you didn't change their pay rates at all, you had 24 weeks to spend your funds on payroll, rent, or utilities. For the most part, I think most people are going to end up using the majority of it for payroll expenses. At the end of the day, it's all an expense. So it's not going to really make a huge difference as to where it was, going to, as long as it was used for either rent, payroll, or utilities. So those are the three big parts of that. So most people, I think, just out of simplicity, are probably going to use all the funds for payroll, because then they'll be able to submit those same payroll documents back to their lender and apply for forgiveness. Unless this legislation is passed that's going to do the blanket forgiveness, then I'm not sure what they're gonna require from that. So I know that there's a couple of institutions like banks that are going to be opening up their forgiveness portals in October is, I think, the expected time when they're going to start taking that. But just kind of as an FYI, the ones that I've seen are giving it like a 60-day block to review those applications. And then from there, the SBA has 90 days to approve your forgiveness application. So honestly, in my opinion, I would just kind of sit tight. Most people, the 24 weeks, is going to take you to the end of October, November, even December, the end of the year, depending on if you went with the first round of PPP funds or the second round of PPP funds will make kind of a difference with that. But I would just kind of sit tight for a while, especially if you haven't had any changes and you are still operating payroll as normal. If you did have things that changed, like maybe you laid off your employees for a little bit, or the hours got cut, that's okay too, because you're still going to be using those funds for payroll, and that's mostly what they want to see. Is that was the whole purpose of PPP, was to get people off of unemployment or not have to take unemployment, that they could still get paid. Now there's Okay, I think I went out there. Sorry. So, anyways, at the end of the day, if you got PPP funds, not much change. You probably don't have a lot to worry about. So, I would just kind of wait on applying for forgiveness, because that process is going to be varying depending on who it is, and it could be a little bit more complicated than And because their review process at the bank is 60 days, from the ones that I've seen, 60-day review period plus a 90-day review period. I think they're still trying to drag it out to see what Congress and the Senate and the government does. So in my opinion, just kind of sit on it. You don't have to worry about it too much right now. I will keep you posted on updates as I get them. And if you do have any questions, please drop them in. I see a couple people on here. Good morning. Doesn't tell me names on this. But anyways, thanks for joining me. If you have questions, please drop them in. I'm available to answer any of them. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.